Good morning, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to another week of Sustainable Talks with Maria J. The last video, we talked about the circular economy and how I think consuming less plays a really important role in creating a sustainable future and managing this environmental issue that we're having right now, aka climate change, which is a contribution of a bajillion actions that humans are doing every day, and all of those actions are having their different impacts upon the environment, which all contribute to climate change. So by consuming less and even changing your mentality of how you consume, having a more meaningful way of consumption can all play a major role in reducing your environmental footprint and helping address the situation of climate change. So with that said, I have an exciting challenge for you guys. Next month is July, and every July I partake in Plastic Free July. Plastic Free July is a wonderful event that happens every year for the past definitely past 5 years, possibly even longer. And basically it's a challenge that you can take as an individual or with your family or with co-workers, friends, whoever you want. And basically you try to go and live for the month of July without any plastic. Now there are different variations and different rules that you can partake in. So I definitely started this about 5 years ago. I started off first giving up coffee cups because they have the plastic lining and the plastic lid in. So for the first year, I pretty much just gave up one or two plastic items. So you can make this challenge your own. You can either try give up all plastics, or you can just give up certain disposable plastics. So disposable plastics include plastic bottles, plastic cutlery, takeaway, plastic bags, plastic straws. I think those are the main ones that I listed. And then if you want, you can take it a step further by addressing other sort of plastics that you might use in your life. And basically I do a no buy plastic challenge as well with that. So if I already have like food in my pantry that's in plastic packaging, I still go ahead and use that. I just don't buy any food that comes in plastic. So it's actually really hard because like if you snack a lot, you can't buy chips or chocolate because that's all plastic. When I go buy fruit and veg, the hardest part for me is I always go and buy the odd bunch at Woolies. So that's like deformed fruit that nobody really picks at a cheaper price, and I feel like that's my way of saving food from going to landfill and breaking the poor hearts of all the farmers who work so hard to grow our fruit and veggies. One of the challenges I find during Plastic Free July is I can't buy the odd bunch because they come in plastic bags. So I have to buy the pretty perfect fruit and veg, which is alright, but I'd rather not. So last year I gave up plastics completely. The year before that I gave up plastic food packaging completely. So every year I just take it a step further. The biggest challenge I guess is you can't buy meat in trays because they come in plastic with a plastic film. And in general, just doing your grocery shop is quite hard. Can't buy shampoo, plastic bottles. Can't buy chips, snacks, lollies. Can't buy pasta that comes in a plastic bag or packaging. Luckily, a lot of sauces and condiments come in jars, so that's okay. Can't buy milk because that comes in plastic packaging. And I guess it depends on how far you want to take this step, because you can also make yourself not buy milk that comes in carton because the lid is plastic. So I guess it depends on how extreme you want to take it. And last year I found it really hard to buy milk. There was Aldi who brought out milk in glass bottles, but it was only selected Aldis. So I went to like 3 or 4 different Aldis and I just couldn't find it. So giving up milk for a month is a bit hard. Giving up cheese as well, because some cheese comes in plastic packaging. I'll put the link down below for Plastic Free July. You guys can have a read through of the website and decide for yourself what kind of challenge you want to give yourself. I think the easiest for everyone right now might be giving up plastic bags, because Woolworths and Coles has banned it, so you can't really shop with plastic bags anymore. But that said, it might be hard. Like, again, if you give up plastic bags, are you going to exclude using plastic bags in the bin? Because a lot of people have mentioned that they find Plastic Free July really hard because they can't line their bins with plastic bags. But the best alternative is newspaper. As long as you don't put wet ingredients in your newspaper lined bin, then you're totally fine. So wet ingredients might be food scraps or all that kind of stuff, so you can obviously compost it or, like, you know, throw it out in your garden and let it rot that way. Alternatively, if you really want to and you don't have a garden space or you don't have a composting bin, you can hoard your food scraps in the freezer until the end of July and then throw it out in a bin, if that makes sense. So there are a few cheat ways that you can go ahead and do Plastic Free July. So to set you guys up for Plastic Free July, the most important thing is preparation. If you wake up on the 30th, 30 days, if you wake up on the 30th of June and you're like, crap, tomorrow's Plastic Free July, I don't have anything ready to go, it can be really, really hard. So preparation is key. Some of the easier alternatives to plastic items is get yourself a water bottle. This is a thermal water bottle. I haven't been using a plastic bottle for, like, I don't know, 5 years now. So I always have a nice water bottle with me to stay hydrated throughout the day, because Sydney's winter right now is dry AF. The second thing I always pack is a tote bag. So this rolls up quite nicely. And then I tie it up like that. And I keep this in my bag. I always put one in every morning before I leave the house, because sometimes I don't intend on shopping, but sometimes friends give me gifts or food or stuff, so I always end up needing a bag to carry something home. In regards to shopping for produce, I have nice little canvas bags ready to go. So if I buy like individual fruits or veggies, I chuck them in these. I also have reusable net ones that I mentioned before in a different video. I got them, I think it was 5 for $10, so they're pretty handy as well. I keep 1 or 2 of them in my bag as well. And the next thing I wanted to mention is obviously your keep cup. I don't have one on me right now, but a keep cup is definitely a great way to reduce your plastic consumption, because I reckon everybody has like a coffee a day, right? So if you're having a coffee a day, that's 365 coffee cups every year, and you know you're going to be living for like till like 80, so that's like at least 70 years worth of coffee cups that's going out into landfill that can't be recycled. Coffee cups cannot be recycled, so the best thing you can do is just stop using them. Have a dine-in option or BYO, because so many cafes give discounts for BYO, so get onto it. And then the final thing I wanted to mention was my own cutlery set. So I got this little bag when I bought my straws, but basically I have in here straw, spoon, fork and chopsticks. I generally keep a straw cleaner in here as well, and I pack this in my bag every day, so that way when I eat I don't have to use plastic cutlery. And that said, I also make my own lunch for work, and I bring my own container. I don't use those takeaway containers, I just use my own reusable containers. It saves me so much money, and as I mentioned, like, the way you consume really makes an impact upon climate change. So I guess because I also want to save quite a bit of money, my mentality is if I bring lunch, then I can go out for dinner, and that way I don't have to spend money on all my meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner. And that said, like, if I have a salad for lunch or a vegetarian option with my own lunch, then when I go out for dinner I might treat myself with some meat or something like that. So, like, you know, if where possible, I like to control my actions, or like control my impact upon the environment. Like when I make my own salad, I know where the produce is coming from, I know what sources I'm using, I kind of know the background behind my ingredients. But when I go out to eat, I'm not exactly sure where everything came from. Like, did they make the pasta themselves? Did they import it? Is it like fresh? Or like, you know, what ingredients are in there? Like, did they put additives or preservatives? Or like, you know, is the meat fresh? Is it Australian local grown beef? Or is it like imported? Is it like, a whole bunch of questions are unknown when I eat out. So by bringing my own food for lunch, it kind of works for me. I A, save money, and then B, if I do decide to eat out, I can kind of treat myself. So that's pretty much it in terms of tips and tricks. So maybe have a sit down for the coming week and just have a think, like, you know, with Plastic Free July, what can you give up? It doesn't have to be everything that's plastic. It can just be 1 or 2 items. It can just be like plastic straws or plastic cups, plastic bags, plastic packaging. Though plastic packaging is a bit harder because everything comes in plastic. This year I am probably gonna try and give up everything again and do a better job at finding alternatives. So I will document my journey and my progress throughout the month of July, because like last year, as I said, I couldn't find non-plastic milk. And then because like even the carton ones, they have the plastic lid and then they're lined with a lining of plastic inside, so technically they're still plastic. So I really want to find a brand or a supermarket that stocks milk in glass. And juice is a bit hard because you don't get juice much in glass bottles. So an alternative there is make my own juice, but I don't have a juicer. So instead I'll probably just eat fruit instead of having them juiced. Hard one will be like if I have cravings for like bubble tea, because I don't use a straw but the cup is plastic. But I think my sister recently found a reusable bubble tea store that has like reusable cups. I'm not too sure. I will inquire about that because bubble tea is one of my pet peeves. All the Asians love them, but like we also love our environment, so it's a bit hard to tackle that one. Yeah, so maybe set yourself a challenge before Plastic Free July. Just be a bit more aware of your actions and how you're consuming, and maybe you can find a few aspects of your daily life where you are using a bit too much plastic or something. So I feel like it's a really great way to learn and grow as a human being. And it's totally fine if you slip. I have slipped so many times, but you know, it's important to just be okay with it. Like if you have a weakness, just dive in, go for it, but then afterwards acknowledge it, I suppose. Like, you can't be successful without having failures. So it's okay if you slip throughout the month of July. Just acknowledge it and discuss it with friends and family or whoever else is partaking in Plastic Free July that you're aware of. And maybe you guys can share tips and tricks, because it is an amazing community online. And there are so many groups, organizations and individuals who get involved. So I'm sure that you guys are bound to find a solution out there somewhere. Oh, I remember now. A really hard thing for me is yogurt, because I love yogurt for breakfast. And in Australia, unfortunately, we don't have yogurt that doesn't come in plastic. But 2 years ago, I went to Europe and I had to do Plastic Free July while I was traveling in Europe for a month. And I got a bit anxious because I was like, okay, I don't know how the supermarkets are like over there. And I was shopping for yogurt and I found this amazing brand, La Fermieri. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was in France, and they sold like 4 of these pots of yogurt with an aluminium foil lid over it, and they're just the cutest. They're ceramic clay pots, and I brought them all back with me, so now I use them as like makeup brush holders and stuff like that. It's so cute. I wish Australia had this stuff, because like you can just repurpose this so easily. to put in anything. Like you can use it as a vase, brush holders, pencil holders. You could even use it as a pot to grow things, and it's just the most beautiful color. So to any of you yogurt production people, makers, please bring in this kind of stuff in Australia. Thank you very much. So yeah, I guess like it's always fun to do a challenge because you always learn something new about yourself, or you learn something new about something completely different, and I think it's just such a great way to learn and grow and develop yourself. So that's your homework, guys. Have a look into your plastic consumption and have a think about what you might be able to give up for the month of July for Plastic Free July. And I would love to hear how you guys are going with your progress throughout July, or if you guys are challenging yourself to give up anything, do let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are giving up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.